Discoveries that completely rewrite all we thought we knew about ancient builders include: for generations, we have been telling ourselves a tale that is reassuring. In our minds, the pyramids of Giza, the monoliths of Stonehenge, and the huge complex of Gobekli Tepe were all examples of structures that were the result of physical force, primitive intellect, and the labor of generations upon generations. Indeed, they were miracles, but they were marvels created by humans. These individuals were referred to as ancient builders, a term that evokes mental pictures of rope, ramp, and stone, respectively. We were both mistaken. Not only were we incorrect about the manner in which they carried out their operations, but we were also incorrect about the individuals involved, the reasons behind their actions, and the very environment in which they function. It was not a single discovery that sparked the revolution. Rather, it was the confluence of data from a variety of areas that was the catalyst. It was a symphony of hints that, when put together, revealed a song that we had been unable to hear for millennia. Firstly, the Gobekli Tepe anomaly. The first library did not have a written record. For a long time, we were awestruck by the T-shaped pillars and the beautiful sculptures that were found on them at Gobekli Tepe in Turkey, which dates back to 9600 BCE through the use of animals and symbolism. We refer to it as ritualistic art. The latest achievement was made possible by a group of experts from a variety of fields who approached the whole location not as a temple but rather as a multi-sensory data storage device. After conducting an in-depth investigation into the exact acoustic characteristics of they reached the conclusion that the pillars are tuned to certain resonance frequencies. It seems that the carvings itself modify themselves when they are played using percussion instruments, as shown by the fact that polished stone drums were discovered. Dust is deposited in patterns that accentuate some lines over others as a result of the vibrations, which results in the creation of complex visuals. When a tone of 110 Hz is applied to the animal that is located on one of the pillars, it exposes an overlay of a cosmic diagram. The location was not only to be seen, rather, it was to be heard and felt as well. It was a vibrating library that encoded information about animal migrations, seasonal changes, and star cycles in a language of stone and sound. This language was intended to be read by initiates who knew this harmonic code. They were not quarrymen. Rather, they were alchemists. As the Geopalamer hypothesis was shown to be correct, an explanation that is as frightening as it is exquisite has been found to the long-standing riddle of how gigantic limestone blocks were fitted together with laser-like precision. The answer is not only lovely, but also disturbing. Sometimes the stone is not really stone. Through the use of sophisticated spectroscopic examination, it has been shown that the core blocks of the Great Pyramid and other megalithic monuments, such as Sacsayhuaman in Peru, contain tiny amounts of organic surfactants and catalytic agents. The indisputable conclusion is that these constructors had a sort of Geopalamer chemistry that was more sophisticated than others. They were not only chopping rock, rather, they were being reconstituted from it. They extracted a clay that was high in limestone, combined it with a secret reagent that was derived from plants, a recipe that has since been forgotten, and then poured the resulting slurry into molds. This resulted in the formation of blocks that bonded together without any gaps when they dried. This provides an explanation for the inconceivable tolerances, the absence of tool trace, and the peculiar flow of the stone, which is practically flexible in nature. They were not hauling blocks. Rather, they were casting them in place, therefore transforming the ground itself into a substance that could be molded into a structure. This wasn't the use of mere force. Rather, it was the implementation of a deep science of matter that had been forgotten. 3. According to the planetary resonance grid, the structures are communicating with one another. The discipline of quantum archaeology has made the most mind-boggling finding in recent years. An astounding discovery was discovered by a group of people who were charting the precise geodetic coordinates of important megalithic monuments. There is no chance involved, nor are the places merely arranged in accordance with the stars. They are situated at major nodes of the magnetic and gravitational field that has been generated by the Earth itself. In an even more astounding turn of events, magnetometers that are sensitive have discovered that these locations are not inert. The weak, pulsing, low-frequency resonance that they generate is synchronized all around the world where it is being sent. A comparable pulse is observed at Angkor Wat And at the Moai of Easter Island, whenever there is a change in the magnetic field at Giza, structures are not different accomplishments of civilizations that are separated from one another. As components of a single system that spans the whole globe, they are referred to as a planetary tuning fork. What is their goal? The growing view, which is reinforced by ancient literature that we long disregarded as myth, argues that they were manufactured with the intention of maintaining the biosphere of the Earth. Their function was to operate as harmonic dampeners, which counteracted the natural pole shifts and oscillations in solar light. Not only were the ancient builders constructing for their own tribes or their gods, but they were also engaging in geoengineering on a global scale in order to guarantee the continued existence of the Holocene period that they were contributing to. A new account. Who were these individuals? Can you tell me who these builders were? The pharaohs who were depicted in our old textbooks as being primitive, slave-driving, or sun-worshipping savages were not the same people. During the last phase of the most recent ice age, they were the inheritors of a highly developed and vast civilization that had flourished worldwide. They had the understanding that the cosmos was a vibrating organism that was interrelated. Their scientific practices were not distinct from their spiritual beliefs. Rather, they were inextricably linked. The mysteries of music, the alchemy of soil, and the rhythms of the planet were all within their scope of knowledge. To use the term builders in our contemporary understanding, were not. They were called geo. It was they who shaped the planet. The language that they spoke was not written on papyrus, but rather in the geometry of mountains and the resonance of stone. It was a language that was intended to communicate with the living earth itself. Their message, which is now finally being heard after a quiet that lasted for 12,000 years, is a sobering one. Our forefathers were not working hard to achieve enlightenment. They were in possession of information that we are just now, with the most modern technology available to us, starting to get a feel for. It is not a pyramid that is their most significant monument. Rather, it is the stable planet that we have, up until this point, taken for granted. Now, the true wonder is not how they constructed it. Rather, it is why we have forgotten about it.